ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਆਦ ਗੁਰੇ ਨਮੈ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਗੁਰੇ ਨਮੈ ਸਤ ਗੁਰੇ ਨਮੈ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇਵੈ ਨਮੈ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ। In memorial for the Akal Takht. 6 years later, all around the Indian community have finally decided to celebrate this year. And I'm glad that they have recognized that in our life Akal Takht why was given. Takht means the throne. There are two words which you have to recognize. Takhta. Takhta means a flat wooden board on which a dead body is laid and is taken to cremation ground. A flat wooden space is called takhta. But when it is pronounced as takht, it means throne. We have Akal Takht, Takht Akal Takht, Takht Kesgarh Sahib, which is in Patna, which is in Anandpur Sahib. The Gurdwara in Anandpur Sahib is known as Takht Kesgarh Sahib. Then there is a Takht in Patna Sahib, and there is in Nader Takht Hazur Sahib. So we have four Takhts. Now they have decided to have the fifth Takht. But actually one Takht, the fifth Takht, which is in Sri Guru Ramdas' destiny, is Takht Raj Yog, which was given by God to Guru Ramdas. We have never mentioned it, ever. But we do sing about it, Raj Yog Takht Dayan Guru Ramdas. It's a simple line of the Gurbani. It is Guru's words. That typically means Raj Yog Takht, the throne of Raj Yog Takht. Dayan Guru Ramdas. Dayan means perpetually given. Dayan is giving. Dayan means, it's a simple language which can be understood. It means perpetually given. So, Raj Yog Takht of Guru Ramdas has to physically appear. Like there is a Jamuna and there is a Ganga. There are two pious rivers in India. And at Prayagraj, which is you called it in your language Banaras, they say the unknown river meets there called Saraswati. The river of knowledge meets and then it makes it complete. That's why it's called Prayagraj Raj Banaras. But going through all that typical situation, why Akal Takht? Akal means which cannot come in the lap and collapse of death, which is death free. Kal means time or death. Akal means deathlessness. Why Guru Har Gobind created a Takht and called it Akal Takht? Akal Takht is a very virtual part of the history. It is not that we consider it in different light. The attack on this Takht was very unnecessarily. I'm not going into the jurisdiction. It was actually a spiritual, most powerful, virtuous place of worship. It represented deathlessness. Wherever the Sikh is, whether he has visited or not, Takht also means It rules the command and the jurisdiction of the territory and totality on the human beings wherever they are. So, in our mind and heart, there's no virtual definition that we do not belong to something. This is one act you have to understand. You will understand that as Western very well. It is one thing in which you have been taken away from territorial rulership, geographical rulership, and time rulership. It is one thing where you have been taken away from culture, association, habits, understanding, to the status of achieving nirvana, beyond that mukti, beyond that ecstasy, beyond that self-recognition, self-illumination, which are the highest. But Sikh religion is a very different religion. It's a religion which starts from crystallization. You can study all the religion. There are recognized 7,000 to 9,000 parts which educate us how to make our life a realistic part. 8 are major religions, Sikh religion is one of them. That is not my concern. Numerical is not my concern. Quality is my concern. In Sikh religion, the very aspect that we have Akal Takht, it does what? It does us from infinity to infinity. It gives us a combination, a jurisdiction to belong to and to relate to. This day, we made it a day to come, and we are constantly going to come, and we shall be keep coming. This is the day of our prosperity. Just remember the life. I know what I'm going to say to you, you will not even recognize it. It's a matter of caliber. It's a matter of state of consciousness, which sometimes is very difficult even to tell you to recognize it. I know that adversity or calamity we do not like. I don't like it myself. Why should I think that you like it? But without worst calamity, there is no legacy. Without legacy, there is no legend. Without legend, there is no infinity. Now, I cannot change this law. I know you don't want to be bothered or troubled or challenged. This is human escapism. Human tendency is to recognize in micro consciousness and think of macro consciousness. Human tendency is not to recognize macro consciousness and be top of it. Human wants to recognize the infinity and does not want to associate with it. But human has reduced infinity to come and serve to him, come to his help. It is something where we have blundered. We have made God as a part of us which comes through. We have never made ourselves part of us which can come through for God. It is such a perverted religious teaching on this planet going on for thousands of years to build earth and is earthling. That total essence where religion should be a religion of reality, where parts should totally merge and join the part of infinity, where infinity should be understood and be powerful within us to relate to it, is totally all gone. What happened? A Pandit, a wise religious man, has to live. How can he live? He can only live by elevating you and assuring you. So you come down to him and he said, well, this is a bad time, let's do prayer. Guru Nanak says that, Dukh daru ਸੁਖ ਰਾਗ ਸੁਖ ਰੋਗ ਪਿਆ ਜਾਂ ਸੁਖ ਤਾਮ ਨਾ ਹੋਈ। Dukh, discomfort, is a medicine. Dukh daru, sukh rog pya. Comfort is disease. Because in comfort, we forget about heavens and we only remember about earth. And what we have done is we have tried to make the entire heaven for earth. Earth was for heaven. It is a port, it's a transport station where soul come in all five sensitivities. Five tattvas were given to the soul to become sensitive enough to recognize the infinity and reorganization and recreative which is in infinite manner, and to see it, to feel it, to hear it, to speak about it, talk about it. Poet talks in poetry the grace and infinity of God. The one who watches sees it also recognizes and writes about the infinity of God. This was where we understand life. That is planet Earth. And here we have reduced our life, total our life, and total God, to some guy with all the power sitting up there and serving us. Because we happen to fold our hands or we kneel down and said, help me. The entire joy of human life is gone. There's no joy in it. Suppose, for example, let us take a situation. We live here 100 years and our 100 years are perfect, happy, monetarily, socially, physically, sexually, sensually, relation-wise. I mean, let us talk. Every facet is happy. Is that enough? No, I'm not going to quote myself. I'm going to quote Guru Nanak on it. Je jug chare arja hor dusni ho. Nawa khanda mein janiye naal chale sabko. Changa nao rakhaye ke jas kir chagle. Je tas nazar na aave ta baat na puche ke. These few lines totally decides it. The very concept of human mind, when it comes to something, that is the biggest blunder a human ever commits. Whatever that great thing is, but it is something. Whatever precious and joyful that thing is, but it is something. It is not everything. Reality lies in totality, and totality lies in infinity. An individual have to recognize infinity within and without. Without it is, outside infinity is. It cannot be denied. Inside it is denied every day. Every day, for every minute, 15 times the gift of life, the breath of life comes to us. Now, if any gift is given to you, how small it is, how little it is, you say thank you. It's your normal culture. It's your normal behavior. It's a human behavior. It is not something, it's automatic. If anybody gives you a gift, you say thank you. Even in Ardas, we are saying, all the gifts have come with all the wishes. Please come through, complete it. It's true. But I am asking something very definite, a question which I want you to ponder over. A simple question. All these wishes you are wishing, all this life you are living, all this reality you are understanding, is it not too small? Has your mind ever gone beyond certain barricades? I tell you, a biggest thing in giving. Guru Nanak was an employee of Modi Khana. Modi Khana is a storehouse, it's a shop. He started giving people things. And he giving and giving and giving, so much giving that everybody thought that he has just emptied this without having encashment on the price what was given. When the account was done, Guru Nanak had a plus towards his side. A khut pandar, something which doesn't end. Creativity of God doesn't end. Creativity of man is endless not. And that is the difference between man and God. When a man of God has giving power endless that of a God, then a man becomes God's man. Then he really belongs to Akal Takht. Then he really belongs to deathlessness. Death is only for those who have limited and confined their micro-consciousness totality and forgotten the macro-consciousness reality. And this concept is what Akal Takht is about. We have yet not totally mentally, physically, and spiritually trained to relate to this beautiful institution. So bad it is that even the government of India, which virtually in its territory had this Akal Takht, never understood its grace, its reverence, and its existence. They used it for political reasons. They recognize it or not recognize it, time will not forget this. This is the psychic nerve center of the spiritual beam of light of the planet Earth. They do not understand, they think it's bricks and walls. Like to us, Guru Ramdas Puri is a land, like whole land, but to us, it is a very virtuous land. This land, according to record, has been a land where people have sit down and worshipped and worshipped and worshipped. It is a piece of land which is of the worshippers. It's a predictable situation. But just understand, sometimes certain piece of land has its own virtue. That piece of land has passed on from one tribe to another tribe to another tribe for worship only. And now God has guided us there and Guru has blessed us to do that. Exactly, that is what Akal Takht is. A place for the mortal to understand immortality. Immortality in the essence of practical essence of not a conception, but projection. Conception is all right. Conception is very limited. But we are very happy with the conception because after conception we have to have delivery, and then we have to have nurturing, and then we have to reach to a stage where we can understand our fulfillment. That's very ordinary. Actually, perpetual infinity which exists and which shall exist has to be understood, has to be realized. Death is to body. 5 tattvas joined, a fist got happened. A impulse came of the prana, life starts. 5 tattvas have to split. Impulse has to be released. We name it soul. Within that combination of that 5 together, we have to realize in that combination that there is an infinity. It's not a science of non-reality. Human is a living reality. The body, the life is just that of God. Ye jag sache ki hai kothadi. This universe of ours, it is the house of the truth. Ye jag sache ki hai kothadi. Isme sache ka hai vas. In this lives the truth. How can this body be wrong when the five tattvas of God are just nothing but purity? How can this body be wrong when the breath of life, the prana, the part of God, is in us every 15 times a minute? But we do not evaluate ourselves, we do not assess ourselves, and we do not exert our own reality to ourselves. Our ambitions, our desires are so earthly that the predominance of the Earth Tattva has become so much in our life, and so much we virtue it, that the Akasha we forget about it. The lightness, the subtlety, the faith, the trance. We do sing Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We don't mean it. We don't even understand it. We don't relate to it. If we say it and we once relate to it, what's wrong with it? We'll always know about it. It was a very funny situation. I had it in Vancouver. In my sensitivity, one Sikh came to me and said, these are his words, I hate you. I definitely hate you, and I very much hate you. Thrice he said. I said, thank you. Well, he said, what you have to say? I say, I understand your anger, but you should do what I do for it. He said, you understand what I'm saying? I say, yeah. What you say, I hate you because I couldn't be you. I love to be you because I couldn't be you. Make me you as I want to be you. This is what you have said. He said, that's true. But I say, actually you have said, I hate you, I very much hate you. He said, well, that's a Canadian way. I said, no, that's not Canadian way. Don't bring Canada into it. Or you can say it is a Vancouver way. This is your personal way. You from a human has become neurotic. You express everything in a negative anger. If you just transform this negative anger to be positive anger, you will achieve. Your achievement lies in just reversing this one behavior to the positive. And this very understanding totally changes attitude, changes aptitude. Exactly those of us who believe in this Akal Takht and call our subject to this whole thing have to learn this virtue where we belong to. Akal Takht reminds us that we are a part of infinity, we are a part of reality, we are the infinity. This grace we remember in memory because those who attacked it were arrogantly ignorant of purity. But we who call ourselves as a Khalsa nation shall continue till we understand the day shall come when it will be impossible for any lunatic head to organize any physical attack on this Takht again. Let the Guru come through and our wishes be granted is peaceful consideration and realization, so that as a sovereign of all sovereignty, independent of all, source of independence of all independence, we can enjoy life within us and around us. Let us give depth to this thought. Let us give rational thought with us that we are part of infinity, that we are part of reality. Before tomorrow you put down yourself on any chance any conversation, any opinion, or in any dialogue. And before tomorrow, you just feel pain, disappointment, or misunderstanding about you. Just realize that there's such a source of power behind you, such a powerful reality behind you. You belong to such a regal atmosphere and a sphere of God that your small little situation is no. I can visualize when a 2-year-old son of the mother was snatched from him and it was cut into pieces, and she was given each piece to create a garland, and she did it. And she did it without shedding one tear. And then the butcher put that garland around her neck and asked her to grind the wheat for the forces. You understand that scene? Today, you are blind in the love of your children. You cannot even believe if he gets a little pimple, you get more upset. That bullet has hit you. You feel that you didn't take care of them. You feel virtually that you have failed. Your emotions and feelings get upside down. But have you understood what strength was with those women? Because they felt part of infinity. They felt part of recognition. Just understand the man who is locked up in true wood blocks and is sawed down right from the center down there. Think of that man. And think him, when he was not touched yet, wood was being cut, he started reciting Sukhmani. Until he was cut into 2 parts. Both parts were reciting Sukhmani alive. Where that power comes from? It comes from infinity. And these are physical evidences in Sikh history, recorded by enemy, recorded by executioner. And this is what shows that those who belong to infinity becomes infinity. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji.
Rasa